In part 2, we got the ball moving and responding to the keyboard. Now we'll wrap things up by testing to see if the ball went into the goal or if it missed, and updating the score accordingly. To create this test, what do we want to know? Well, first we want to know if the ball has gone off the right-hand side of the screen. If it has, we'll start it over again. So let's say if ball is dropping, so we'll have one set of things that we'll test if the ball is moving vertically, and the different things to test if the ball is moving horizontally. So if the ball is horizontally moving, we'll say if ball x minus ball radius, that's the left side of the ball, is greater than width, remember width is the size of the screen, then, well, we just want to start the ball over again. So we'll say ball x equals 0. So let's go ahead and run that and see what happens. When the ball goes off the right-hand side of the screen, it starts again at the left. Great. So now let's test for vertical motion. If the ball is dropping, what we really care about is if it's off the bottom of the screen. So I'm going to say if ball y minus ball radius is greater than height, we're going to do something. Otherwise, we're not going to bother doing anything. It's just moving. So now the question is the ball in the goal? So I'm going to say if, and now I'm going to fill this in a second, ball is in goal. That'll be something. Then we'll say hooray, goal. Otherwise, we'll print miss. Whoops, we went double quotes in there. So how do we test if the ball is in the goal? Again, I like to draw a little picture. Every one of these little situations is different, but they can almost always be solved with a little picture like this. And I'm not going to go through all the details here. Again, we'll do that later. But by drawing this little picture and just marking where the center of the ball is and where the left side of the ball is, that's the pink stripe, and marking where the beginning of the gap is, that's the green stripe, all I have to ask is the pink stripe right of the green stripe? That'll tell me if we're to the right of the barrier on the left-hand side. And we can do the same thing on the right. If the pink stripe is less than the green stripe, we're to the left of the right-hand barrier. And if we're on the inside of both barriers, we're in the gap and we get points. So here's how we write that test. I'm going to do it in two pieces. I'm going to check to see if I'm on the right-hand side of the left barrier and if I'm on the left-hand side of the right barrier. So the left-hand side, I check if ball X, and this is the reason for having the little pictures. You can just look at the picture and this will tell you what numbers you need to check. If ball X minus ball radius is greater than gap left, and again, it's the picture that lets us do that, and I know I'm blazing through this quickly, and that's okay for now. I just want to give you the general idea. We just write a little test here. And we don't use the word and. We use two ampersands. I know that's weird. We'll talk about that in detail. But again, that's another thing you'll get used to in no time. So this says if we're to the right of the left barrier and we're to the left of the right barrier, then we have a goal. So let's go ahead and run this and watch the output window underneath the program where we're going to type out goal and miss. And hit the space bar. Miss, 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 miss. Aha. What's happened is the ball has gone below the bottom of the screen, but it's not restarting. So if we have a goal or a miss, we have to restart the ball, as always. So I want to say ball X equals 0. I want to say ball is dropping is false. Oh, and I've got to move the ball up vertically, right? Because now the ball is below the screen. So I have to set ball Y. Now I could type in the same value I had before, which I think was 100, but I'm going to stick it in a variable called ball starting Y. I'm going to put a space here. And I'm going to want to do the same thing if I have a miss. So let's figure out what ball starting Y should be. That's the value the ball should have when it starts out at the left side of the screen. Well, we're using 100 for ball Y, so let's use 100. And then I'll just say ball Y is ball starting Y. So now let's run this. And I'm going to hit the space bar really soon. Miss. Miss, but it's restarting the ball. This should be a goal. Yes, it's a goal. All right, so we pretty much have a functioning game here. I'll notice one thing, and that's that I'm typing these three lines twice. Ball X equals 0, ball dropping false, ball starting Y, and I'm doing it again. Well, there's no need to do anything more than once. So I'll just put it down here so it's true for both conditions. So if this is true, we print a goal. If it's not, we print a miss, and then we start the ball over. So we just saved a little chance of making an error because instead of typing this all twice, we type it once. So finally, let's add some scoring stuff. So I'm going to create a variable called score. We'll start at 0, and let's say goal points equal 10, and miss points will be 5. We'll add -5 if you miss. So if we hit a goal, then score plus equals goal points. That says add goal points to score. And you know what? I'm going to take the print statement and I'm going to copy and paste that after the score update, because now I'll say goal score equals the score. And if we miss, then score plus equals miss points, because it's negative. We'll just add the -5. And we'll say miss. Too bad. Score equals score. So let me make the output region bigger. And let's run the game. And I'm going to get a goal there, I think. And there's a miss. And there's a miss. And we've got a great game. But it's much too easy. So let's make it a little bit harder. I'll make the gap smaller. Let's say 100. And I'm going to make the ball faster. Let's say 8. All right, let's go ahead and run that. Oh. Okay, so this is harder. It's not too hard. Okay. Well, you get the idea. By changing these numbers, I can make that gap arbitrarily small. If I make this ball really whipping along, I don't know, make ball speed 15, I think it'll be just about impossible. Let's go ahead and give it a try. So let's set that back to a more reasonable speed. So this is how we write a program that uses all these new ideas. Now, I know I went through them very quickly, but you get the idea, and we'll talk about each of these things in detail. Once you have these techniques under your belt, then you are able to use them to write your own really wonderful interactive stuff, whether it's a art program or a kiosk. It can be scientific visualization. It can be an installation or a web piece. These tools are going to become really good friends for you. And this week's videos are all about helping you make good friends with all of these techniques.